Alright, let's hope we can actually just leave. Escape the Wuxing Sky Tower. As you reach for the elevator's control panel, you can feel the electric sensation of the key dancing across your skin. This feeling is noticeable to those not even magically attuned. The disruption here is that strong. Behind you, the trapped and turbulent key swirls inside the iconic Sky Tower atrium. You can actually see the air around the atrium warp and ebb as the key surges and breaks against the obstacles around it, looking for a way to move, to flow, and finding none. Your job is done. You've desecrated the Wuxing Lotus, and in doing so, blemished the prideful face of a megacorp. Not bad for a night's work. He turns his back on the temple. I think we did the job up to the client's standards, huh? I'd fucking say so. 100%, Duncan. The elevator arrives at the temple. Time to duck out the back door before security can respond further. You better fucking believe it. Gonna have to spend most of that money on that med packs, that bonus cash. Wuxing won't know what hit them. The embarrassment of their own geomanic science turned against them will sit unfavorably on the tongues of the Wuxing executives, and maybe even get a few people terminated. They'll know it wasn't just the building you battered. You sent a message. Everyone has a weakness that can be exploited. The change in feng shui should keep them spinning for months. The complete disruption of their key, the destruction of their temple, will cripple the energy of this branch of the company. And with Wuxing focusing on restoring their temple, it'll be a long time before they discover the full extent of your assault. Good work, me. Maybe they gave us bonus karma. Nope, just 8. Optional objective, get some rest. Let's go talk to her. Hello? Your comlink chirps. It's kindly Cheng. Hello, Auntie. Hello, my darling. There's a thrill in her voice that you haven't heard before. Come see me at once. I have something I want to show you. Your crew's already here. I'll be there right away. Very good, my sweet. Very good. Well, fucking, you do not keep kindly Cheng waiting. Auntie? As you walk through the mahjong parlor, you see your crew waiting for you, clearly uncomfortable to be so close to the triad boss. Then you see why. Kindly Cheng's cheeks are flushed and glowing. She's hit the bottle pretty hard. Let's get to it, shall we? You said you had a lead, Auntie? I did. And I do. Kindly Cheng takes out her PDA and gently places it on the table in front of her. The wiretap we placed on the police force has borne fruit. Her mouth breaks into a wolfish grin. Her eyes take on a feral gleam. She appears fueled by alcohol and vengeance, a hungry beast on the hunt. My people have delivered a snippet of a recorded video call between the plastic-faced man and Chief Inspector Crate of the Special Duties Unit. Whoa, this should be good. Should we take a seat? Unfortunately, it's only a snippet. There were some technical difficulties with the tap. She glances at Bao, who nods back at her. The person responsible has been sacked. Cheng reaches out a lacquered fingernail, hunts for the button she's looking for, and stabs it in victory. There's a loud crackling noise at the beginning of the recording, followed by a squelching squeal that makes Gobbett covers her ears in pain. When the video recording begins, the man's voice sounds far away, as if he's talking through a thick pane of glass. The woman's is louder, closer. Say that again. There's something wrong with this line. I said my client isn't interested in hearing more excuses, Inspector. That's what I thought you said. I'm not making excuses, mister. I have a department to run. Not for much longer if those two Westerners aren't found. They're linked to this Raymond Black somehow, and my client wants them out of circulation immediately. The two runners in as accomplices, too, the little orc and the dwarf with the cyberdeck. Gobbett looks at Isabel wide-eyed and swallows hard. Isabel winks back reassuringly. I'm aware, Inspector, thank you. We don't know how much any of them know, and my client is adamant that the risk might be mitigated immediately. I've already made this the SDU's highest priority. If Josephine wants more resources on it, I'm going to need allocations from elsewhere in the department. That is a problem that can be easily dealt with. My client wants this over now. No more excuses, no more fuck-ups, no more cops floating in the river. Kindly Cheng smiles at that and pours herself a shot. Tell her we're redoubling our efforts. Very good. Dead or alive, you bring them to me. My client requires my personal verification that the threat has been eliminated. Hang on. This line is getting worse. There's a sharp crackle and the recording ends. Kindly Cheng picks up her PDA and puts it away with a smile. She unscrews the cap on her bottle and pours herself a shot with a flourish. That's the guy we saw in the surveillance footage, the one who killed Raymond Black. She leans into the PDA. That plastic face looks a lot cooler close up. I think it's kind of pretty. That video doesn't tell us much. I mean, we already know there's an APB out on us. All we're sure of now is that the man with the plastic face is definitely working for someone, this Josephine. Is that all we have, Auntie? A first name? It's not just a first name, Gobbet dear, it's the first name. Josephine Sang. She's the one pulling the strings. Kindly downs her shot and slams the glass upside down on her table. That disease-riddled dog fucker, I should have known it was her from the beginning. She drums her fingers on the table in front of her, and she had the nerve to call down the heat on my runners, on Nightjar? Oh, that scabrous fossil is going to pay. This woman has enough power to order the HKPF to hunt us down? Mm-hmm. Cheng makes a wet whacking noise in the back of her throat and spits on the floor. She's the CEO of Sang Mechanical Services and a member of the Hong Kong Executive Council. Josephine Dog-fucking Sang. What is Sang Mechanical Services? Josephine's baby. It was a B-rated corporation before she married into the Sang family, but after she fought for and won the contract to rebuild Kowloon Walled City, their fortunes rose high. They began a rise to power that eventually landed Josephine on the Executive Council. The Walled City? Yes, the same place Raymond Black hired my runners to take him. I've already connected the dots. I don't know what it means, but it clearly means something. CEO, huh? What do you know about her? She was Hong Kong's Philanthropist of the Year in 2054 and 2055. Children's hospitals, homeless shelters, food distribution centers. Good causes, and the kind that get good PR because people are too lazy and myopic to look for the real people doing the hard work. The face-to-face with the poor work. Don't be so cynical, Isabel. Ani Cheng smiles at her sweetly. Coming face-to-face with the unsanitized for video poor is distasteful, dear. You know that. Beyond being a CEO and philanthropist, I also know that Josephine Sang is a lying-conniving bitch. Philanthropist and bitch, those two mutually exclusive. She snorts decisively. Wake up, Stubtoe Williams. Power is power. Whether you're providing children with 3 hots and a cot, or you're negotiating a treaty with a multinational, it's all the same. It doesn't sound like you like her very much. Whatever gave you that impression? My sweeter wolfish smile returns. No, my darling, I don't like Josephine Sang, and I'm going to fuck her up. I'm going to fuck her up bad. Oh, this should be good. It'll be delicious, and I may explain why someday, but not today. She picks up her bottle of swill. Its turpentine fumes drift your way. But when I finally get her, you'll be there, my darling. I'll make it a party. What's the connection between Josephine Sang and the plastic-faced man? I don't know yet, but I will. He called her his client. That may be some sort of lead we can follow. Cheng nods at Wu. Her glance lingers at his biceps a moment before continuing. Right now, all we know is that he is her instrument. The one who killed Raymond Black. Raymond's not dead. Yes, you may have mentioned that before, Gunshow. She smiles at him reprovingly. Regardless, the plastic-faced man is our best lead for figuring out what's going on. What's the Executive Council again? May I, Auntie? Hong Kong is run by a consortium of powerful corporations called the Board of Governors, who set up the Executive Council, an 8-member committee of exemplary Hong Kong citizens to represent the people and run the city on their behalf. But of course you don't vote for them. That would be too unpredictable. Instead, every 2 years, 2 executive council slots come up for re-election, and the corporations on the Board of Governors put up some possible candidates and vote among themselves in a closed-door session. Closed door? I'm shocked. Of course, every single one of these candidates is on some corporation's payroll somehow. Wham bam, instant government. What's our next step? There's nothing we can do to touch Josephine Sang, as much as I hate to admit it, but the plastic-faced man is a different story. He's a third-party operative who's been careless, and he'll live to regret it. For a while. If Sang thinks she can take out 2 of my runners and get away with it, I'm going to have to explain things to her. She pulls out a thin black cigar and runs it beneath her nose. We're going to find the plastic-faced man, and we're going to hurt him. We'll hurt him until we know everything he does. And then we'll use that to strike back at Josephine Sang. She lights her cigar and takes a deep, deep pull. You'll have your vengeance and all of my own satisfaction. She turns away and picks up the bottle. Now get out, I have work to do. Yes, ma'am. Get out of the way, she said we gotta go. Let's check up on the people of Hioi. Specifically the magic shop. What sweet new shit you got for me? A sight unexpected from the window slapdash product display strikes you as you walk through the shop. Everything is clean, unusually clean. Not spotless, a nearby food plate resting atop a small collection of books speaks to that. But otherwise, the piles of journals and notebooks and books from before are for the most part on shelves, organized. The shopkeeper is nowhere to be seen. You don't remember whether an open sign was on the front door, but the handle turned easily enough. Someone must be here. You approach the front counter and see a service bell. Ring the bell? You hear a thump followed by a loud shit. Crafty leaps up from behind the counter, rubbing the top of her head, a duster in her other hand. Her eyes widen when she sees you. Stubtoe Williams. You've been busy. I feel like I've walked into another dimension. Crafty waves your comment away. I was getting hounded by some of my regular patrons, and maybe a sanitation officer or two. You see the urgency in her eyes when she leans forward. That doesn't matter, Stubtoe Williams. I found it. The thing we've been searching for. I know what's happening inside the walled city. Well, what is it? The Yama Kings are real. Well, that was a bit of a giveaway from the other person that was rambling about Yama Kings. That's a big leap from imaginary monsters. Crafty's eyes hold your gaze with unshakable intensity. I'm serious. You know me. I'm the last person to start believing in Santa Claus, much less my mother's ravings, but this is solid. The Yama Kings are real, and they're coming. She lays her palms flat on the counter, almost breathless. They've been on their way to the walled city since the place was built. The dreams, the importance of their coming, omens manifested as dreams. You really believe that? Just think about it. The strange things we've been dreaming, the sensations, the hunger. Asleep or awake, it affects us all the time, anywhere. The connection, we're all in or near the walled city, itself a beacon for disaster. Something or some things have noticed the city, and now we're noticing them. It's been the Yama Kings all along? Not quite. I don't think the Yama Kings are the cause of the walled city's corruption. They're the effect. Something in the walled city has so polluted the feng shui of the place that it's acting as a magnet for malevolent astral beings. Mom was right. There's something at work in the walled city. I don't know if it's a curse or something else, but there's something deeply unnatural at work in that place. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mother. I thought I was closing my eyes to your madness, but all I did was prevent myself from seeing the truth, from seeing what was unfolding right in front of me. Can they leave the walled city? Why would they? The curse, or whatever it is that's attracting the Yama Kings to the walled city, has turned the city into an ideal hunting ground. With a practiced sweep of her hand, she tucks a strand of her hair behind her ear. A foggy handprint slowly disappears from the counter where her hand was pressed. Have you ever heard of terraforming? It's an old science fiction idea. You make a planet, like the moon or something, into an Earth-like environment to support human habitation. That's what's happening in the walled city, only in reverse, and on an astral level. I think that pent-up toxic ki in the walled city is turning the place into an extension of the Yama King's home plane, making the environment there hospitable for them. They won't range beyond it for the same reason that you wouldn't leave a baby's bathysphere in the deep ocean. But as we've seen, that corruption is spreading. It's already starting to seep into Hioi. If left unchecked for another 30, 40 years, who knows what might happen. Are these beings what broke your mother? The Yama Kings weren't directly responsible for Mom's corruption. It was caused by the root problem, that which attracted the Yama Kings to the city in the first place, the poison at the bottom of the well. Whatever it is, it's been there from the very beginning, and it's in no way natural. People did this. Well, at least you know what happened to your mom. I know where you're coming from, Stubtoe Williams, but my mother still allowed herself to be corrupted. She put herself in the way of evil, and it took her. Not a second thought for anyone else. Her research has given us valuable resources. I'm glad these journals, these pieces of her mind, can be used to arm ourselves against the Yama Kings. The knowledge it's given us will help these trials to come. Let's backtrack for a moment. This is big, Crafty. At your words, an unusual mood washes over Crafty. She raises her hands and grips her tattooed arms, hugging her chest. Please, Stubtoe Williams, you have to stop it. This evil. For yourself, for my mother, for every man, woman, and child in the walled city and Hioi. Nobody outside of our community will care about this. They've already written people like us off. If what's happening here is to be undone, we have to be the ones to undo it. I'll see what I can do. Thank you. Can you show me what you've got in stock? Do you have new clothes? You totally don't. Will you buy my old clothes? Thank you so much. Oh, she got some more fetishes, and they just cost incredibly large amounts of money. +1 willpower, +1 spellcasting. Jesus Christ. I need to take care of some things on my end. You take care of things on yours. Will do. Good luck, Stubtoe Williams. Thank you. I gotta go get paid. Which is over here. You go this way to get paid. Your workstation, jobs directory, claim payment for the Wuxing sabotage run. You submit the job as finished and await the response. A few moments later, a message pops onto the screen. $2,200. Sorry, shadow dollars, Nguyen. A little bird whispered in my ear that Wuxing's fortunes are already falling. Their stock value dropped by 2% already. The client finds this to be an acceptable indication of your success and has forwarded payment. I've attached your cut to this email. Thank you. View all pending jobs? Artifact liberation. That's the one I meant to do. Certain artifacts. This guy. Yes. So we totally went to the wrong Shadowrun. Whoops. So we gotta go rob this dude's house. Back to route. Shadowland. Claim payment for sold pay data. Claim payment for the Repulse Bay construction plans. $300. Thank you. Go back. Post some pay data. That was really hard to get, so this better be like fucking 600 million. Post the Wuxing logistical data. Wuxing delivery manifest and ID. Search the BBS for relevant keywords. Looking for Decker. Looking for experienced Decker for a discreet milk run on a low-level corporate lab. Potential for longer-term arrangement. We're a team that's been together for years, running your basic heists and the occasional transport gig. We've got a reliable fix from a long list of happy clients. Didn't you already fucking post? Yeah, you did. Weren't you just looking for a Decker a little while back? Son of a bitch. I saw your ad, but I was wrapping up a one-time run with an old partner who's moved away. I'd be interested in meeting. Is it Muffin Top Ninja your phys ad? Did someone call my name? Hey, MTN. Long time no beer. We gotta catch up, Sensei. Bring me on as your Decker. I guess the kid who answered your last ad didn't work out? That's an understatement. I think we can count on you as not to consume any drugs during runs. Most specifically drugs that were part of the payload. Fatal experimental drugs that were part of the payload. Ouch. That's not even a rookie error. It's just lack of common sense. Real shame that. Anyway, I'm glad you're on board, Runs. We're not going to have a problem with you. Want to trade eyes, we'll take anything. I've acquired a huge supply of cutting-edge cybernetic eyes. My fence did a runner, so I've got eyes up to the eyeballs, as it were. Make me an offer. They've got the whole 9 yards. 2010 vision, camera, low light, and thermographic modes. One size fits all. Sold in pairs only. Colors, brown, blue, violet, hazel, green. Green flecked with gold, chrome. And you've got to install them yourself. Trade you a Ranger Arms SM3. Comes with a matching briefcase. Deal. Message me. Can I swap you my old Ibra size for a new set? Seriously, anything but that. Can I buy one blue and one brown eye? Nope, you can buy 2 pairs. Sheesh. Uncle C's House of Pork. If anybody ever has the hankering to go to Uncle C's House of Pork in Tayo, I can only say one thing. For the love of all that's holy, don't. I haven't been able to leave my house in 2 days. The only reason I can even post here is because of the RAS override on my deck. What did you eat? Maybe you were just unlucky. All I had were some shumai and ribs. It's pretty basic and hard to mess up. Unlucky is when I get a bad orange at the market. This isn't unlucky. This is something else. This is some kind of vile gastrointestinal sorcery. Oh my god, I only ate there once. Once. I still have nightmares. It felt like I'd eaten a wasp nest if the wasps were made of rusty razors and also on fire. I thought I was being clever by getting the pulled pork sandwich when I ate there. Nope. Aside from basically being a pile of congealed sludge and the bread being moldy, it was a week before I could hold down anything more solid than congee. What are you, all a bunch of children? Yeah, the kitchen is dirty, but I've eaten there dozens of times, and not once have I gotten sick. Grow up and learn to eat adult food. Wait a second, aren't you that person who was raving about the food cart on the corner of Kimberly and Observatory? You told me to get the yuzu glazed horse tripe? Yeah, how'd you like it? Pretty good, huh? If by good you mean the consistency of tar and old tires, yes, the tripe must have been a week or more old. And I'm pretty sure I smelled rot once the initial citrus blast wore off. Take note, this user's advice on food is not to be trusted. Oh god. Reading that actually got me to push past the RAS override. Now my deck is covered in vomit. Thanks, guys. I mean it. Nothing I love more than being sick and disgusting. Walled City embezzlement history. I'm uploading another Walled City report, this one old, from just after they built it. I ended up digging into the history of the place. It's just archival plain text. Consolidated Press, Hong Kong desk. Sang Mechanical Services, Sang, was again accused in a joint lawsuit headed by Wuxing Incorporated of embezzling hundreds of millions of Nguyen during the construction of the Walled City low-income housing project. The plaintiffs filed an official complaint on Monday, stating that the construction contractors have been heavily pressured by Sang to use cheap construction techniques, while kickbacks, graft, and misrouting of funds caused several hundred million Nguyen to vanish. Sang's legal team strenuously objected to the accusation, citing lack of proof in the corporation's own damaged fortunes. Legal team spokesman Li Quishan had this to say. The Walled City contract was a disaster for my client. The project was sabotaged at every turn by union activists and competing corporations. TMS struggled heroically to complete the project despite this interference. These parties have now added insult to injury by fabricating charges of malfeasance based on the very obstacles which they themselves created. This has truly become theater of the absurd. Is it true? According to Consolidated Press financial analyst Gertrude Schoen, it seems unlikely. Sang has struggled financially since the Walled City project. Sang stock, ticker symbol TMQ, Hong Kong and Tokyo exchanges, is trading at around 40% of its peak, which it reached just after receiving the Walled City contract 4 years ago. Although investigators have indicated there is evidence of possible misconduct, no misappropriated funds have been found. And CEO Josephine Sang recently sold her Victoria Peak estate, citing financial difficulties. If TMS or the Sang family have benefited from stolen Walled City funds, they're not showing it. Miss Sang could not be reached for comment. Huh, I always thought that Sang rocketed to success on the back of the Walled City. They sure trumpet that in their PR. Yep, it's a brilliant piece of historical revisionism. The Walled City was a huge loss of face at the time, but they somehow rebranded the whole fiasco over the last couple decades. Maybe their underbidding made them seem like a real sucker and brought in the contracts. Isabel, I find the fact that you posted a financial article to be charming. Wait, Prism, did you just hit on ISO? Amanita's gonna skin you. No, that's just WP. He's incapable of flirting. Would you date a woman named Amanita and then try to charm someone else on the BBS? WP is just an aggro mentat with poor social filter. You two must have an interesting relationship. Let's just say we radically complement each other. And yeah, we were gonna go rob that weird archaeologist place. Go to the Emperor's Tomb Museum to liberate artifacts. Whatever you say, Objective.